Welcome to Red and Red Real Reviews. I guess it's a bit of a first because we've done lives before, but normally they're live reacts and interview segments. We're not usually doing a live reviewing a show that just aired.
Yeah. We've only done the Yellowstone episode by episode. So this is the first time we're doing a live of not just the finale, but also like the season preceding it.
Yeah,
So all of season two.
yeah. So, Last of Us, this one, season one, I found to be very good. There was a big kind of like the whole Ellie thing was a bit of a sour spot, but overall the show is very, very good. So season two picks up, and within the first episode, the second episode, I don't remember which one happened in, but within the first two episodes, there's a pretty big mic drop with Joel's demise, and we still have to, and then we have a couple episodes where we have to deal with Bella Ramsey's persistence to make Ellie's arc this non-binary lesbian love story. Um, but still, in spite of that, I felt like there was still a lot of good in this season. So I guess the our usual statement to give to the audience is, should they watch season two of The Last of Us?
That's a difficult question to answer for me. So honestly, like Joel was taken away in the second episode. So I mean, Joel was a big anchor, like a big reason for watching in the first season. So when you took that away, Joel being the main character, the
Yeah.
show kind of went to shit for me automatically. And I mean, honestly, like if you hadn't kind of wanted to cover it, I probably wouldn't have watched it. I would have probably just dumped it, honestly. But the sad part is that aside from like all the cringy Ellie stuff, it's actually like a good show. You have
Right.
Pedro Pascal, he's excellent. Like even I mean, I would say towards the last couple episodes, Bella Ramsey had good moments of great acting, like the later episodes. And then they had all these great actors that they brought in to do all these side parts. You had Kaitlyn Dever, Catherine O'Hara, Josh Peck, Jeffrey Wright. You'd know his face. He's from Westworld. He's been in a bunch of
Oh yeah.
HBO shows. Um,
Yeah, I know Jeffrey Wright.
Alana Alana
Uh,
Eubank, she's from Euphoria. So like HBO likes to reuse actors all the time.
yeah.
And then there was a guy from Gilded Age played the really mean WLF guy. Was that the WLF? The younger
Wolf. Yeah,
guy
the Wolf.
who, yeah. So yeah, it's just all the supporting actors are super solid. You have the actor who plays Tommy and his wife are really good too. So it's just like it's a great ensemble cast, and I don't know, like Dina too, and Jesse. And can I just say, okay, I know Keanu Reeves is like partly Asian, but I feel like Jesse is like an even more Asian Keanu Reeves.
And even more Asian Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he's an uber Asian Keanu Reeves. Just the way that he talked sometimes, especially in that finale, I was kind of like giggling to myself because I was like, he reminds me so much of Keanu Reeves, like a very, very Asian one.
I really like Jesse's character because he's someone that's like a stoic warrior of Jackson. Uh
Mm,
and but he's often utilized in a lot of the action sequences of this
hmm
season. So it's nice to kind of, especially when he goes off to kind of rescue Ellie and Dina. He gets we get to see him kind of try to kick. I mean, there's not too many like fight scenes or anything, but there's at least a lot of engagement going on, and at least the efforts made to see him kind of try and kick ass.
Yeah, I would say like him, Jesse, and Tommy are probably my two favorite existing characters right now. Like I just justice for Jesse. Like he is the real MVP, doesn't get the credit where credit is due. Like I just feel bad for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially the we'll get to the hot topic a little later on, but like that one, knowing Jesse's role with the whole Dina thing, and for Ellie trying to like slide in there, it's kind of like it, the justice for Jesse is kind of like twofold.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel for the guy. He's a good dude. He's a good person, which Ellie communicates like she's like you're a good person.
Yeah. And as far as like the other big stars are concerned, like I like Kaitlyn Devers, and she it's funny because the first thing I always think of are like the bulk of the Last Man Standing episodes. So this like sitcom where she's the youngest daughter. So seeing her in a show like this, where she's the leader of this resistance force and she's on this quest for vengeance from Joel killing her father and wiping out her whole troop, is kind of like a complete 180 from what I was used to seeing her in.
I've never seen that show. I think the first thing I saw her
What?
in was
With Tim
was
Allen?
no, never seen it. I
Wow.
don't know. Sitcoms are not really my thing. Like, obviously, I watched like old sitcoms in the '90s, but I don't currently watch sitcoms. Like, I just the canned laughter is just like, ma. You know,
Well,
it's
I can't say Last Man Standing is current. It's probably been off the air for a decade.
I think just a handful of years, but the last thing I saw Caitlin Dever in a few months ago was where she played an Australian health influencer that was like a low key like con woman, and she did that role amazingly, and she had to have like an Australian accent for it, so that was a good dramatic role, and she was very like manipulative and like really smart, but like very I don't know. So that was an interesting role to see her in prior to this one because as Abby, she's obviously very smart, very calculated, but she's a lot more like stoic in this than she was in that previous show. I can't even remember. Oh, Apple Cider Vinegar, I think it's called the show.
Yeah, she's cold. The character of Abby is cold too, because she's very much just on that quest for vengeance and kind of stone blooded killer of sorts.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess that would lead us to Joel, because Pedro Pascal's exit, so to speak, at least as a living character in the show, was such a big drop at the beginning, and she was merciless in, you know, killing him in vengeance for her father. But they still kind of brought him back. So like that whole sixth episode before the finale,
Mm.
where we get to see the flashback of kind of a build up between Joel and Ellie, which was kind of I guess maybe a little bit of a saving grace from the cringy Ellie stuff.
Yeah, he was excellent in that episode. If he doesn't get nominated for something for that, like he was just phenomenal. And I wish we just saw more of that. I wish we had more of yeah, in the first episode we had the relationship that Joel began with Gail, the therapist, where
Yeah,
he's she's helping him work through, I mean, killing her husband first of all, but also like she's trying to teach him how to be a dad pretty much. She's like troubleshooting him through, okay, well, you want to talk to Ellie, like who's pretty much your daughter, like you know, you're her father figure, but you're pretty much her father. And so she's trying to tell him how to operate. And yeah, I just wish we had more of that, like that, those like father daughter struggles. And like I really liked that sixth episode. That was a great episode.
yeah, and it's like, and the whole thing is like preferenced around Ellie's birthday over the
Mm.
years, and to the point where like her last birthday was, I guess, right after that whole mix up at the that dance or whatever it was.
The New Year's, yeah, the new
Yeah, and she makes him that was when she makes him tell her about what really happened with the
Mm.
Fireflies. So that was kind of like the starting point of them kind of separating, that they're kind of having a strange relationship up until obviously Joel's death.
Yeah, and I thought that scene where Ellie says, you know, I'll give you one chance. Like, if you lie to me again, I'm done with you.
Yeah,
Bella Ramsey was really good in that scene. And then, like the Joel death scene, I found that really difficult to watch. Like, I was almost like, I was this, like, I had my finger on the button and I was like, this is just too, like, like, it was just like, it was disturbing, like the way that Abby was like beating him. Like it was almost a lot. It was just a lot to take. And
the
then,
the
like
squeamish side
when,
of you comes out again.
yeah, it was a lot, and it was just very graphic, and like you just, oh, he's just like barely existing, and then Ellie comes in, and she keeps saying like, doesn't she keep telling him to get up or something? I was like, oh my god, this is like, you know that movie My Girl? Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think so.
So it's a movie about two childhood friends, and basically, spoiler alert, this is a 30-year-old movie, but the little boy, he gets stung by bees, and I don't think he knows, or he's allergic to bees, so he dies. And his friend, you know, she goes to his funeral or his wake. She sees him in the casket, and she's like distraught, and she keeps crying, and she's yelling, he can't see without his glasses, give him his glasses. And like, that's all I was thinking of when Ellie's like yelling for Joel. She's like, Joel, get up. Like, he's like, you know, one second away from dead. And like, that was just so like heart-wrenching to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, and especially, I think it kind of, maybe it was tough to watch at the moment, but I almost feel like it was also, if you go back to it after watching episode 6, it kind of makes it feel a little bit more heavy after, like, they have that run to the museum and they sit in the Apollo capsule, him making the guitar and,
Mm,
attempting to play it for her, like, so you saw that, like, father daughter thing start to blossom over the years, so it kind of like added an extra post mortem heaviness to, Ellie seeing Joel die.
it's like an extra dig at your heart, because there was that scene where Ellie's she starts playing a song, and I think it's the same song that Joel shows her initially on the guitar. Like, when she goes up to the theater, she literally starts playing like one line of it, and then she like kind of puts the guitar back. And that,
Yeah,
so like we later see Joel sing that song for her, and she just like couldn't bring herself to do it. Like, she wanted to, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. So yeah, like kind of seeing all that stuff in hindsight makes like the pain much worse.
yeah. Well, of course, the finale just aired, so we'll go into
Mm,
our notes of what the finale was and what it might set up as far as the future is concerned.
mm.
Um, I for me, it felt like it took a little while to get going. Um, but I felt like, obviously, the first big part of it is Jesse kind of challenging Ellie a little bit and being like, "Hey, like, I see what you and Dina have, but I'm still in love with her, and this is my child." Like, he kind of puts two and two together as far as her being figuring out that she's pregnant, and I don't know if maybe there was a little bit of an unspoken light bulb going on in Ellie's head that, whatever her feelings for Dina aren't going to be so cut and dry if Jesse still wants to be in Dina's life, as well as, raise this child that's obviously his.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing is just interesting because you never really see any, you literally don't see any evidence of like Jesse and Dina's relationship or chemistry or connection. Like it's all like off camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it almost feels like they're together because they're this in this village of survivors that aren't the last people on the face of the earth, basically. And it's like, oh well, we're both you know probably comparable ages. We're both attractive people. I guess this is a thing now. It's kind of like that, as opposed to them actually having feelings for each other or whatnot.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And then the fact that like Dina's still like hooking up with him recently enough, like obviously for him to be like the father. So it's just this weird thing that we never really see play out on camera. It's just like understood like, oh yeah, he's the father of the baby, but like we don't even talk to each other on camera. Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
and it wasn't without some strife because um Jesse winds up disclosing to Ellie that he voted against her, that
Mm,
kind of spirited speech of sorts that she had against to the council, where she wanted to go out and look
mm,
for the people that killed Joel. Um, and he kind of and he had told her, if I'm not mistaken, he had told her that he would vote for it, he would have her back, and then he discloses that he didn't, he voted against it. So that kind of starts to get Ellie very frustrated at him, and uh, it leads to maybe that not necessarily being the case anymore, but at the time, she's certainly very frustrated that he did that to her.
yeah, and it gives some tension to their relationship, which otherwise, like aside from the whole Dina and Jesse thing, like Jesse and Ellie have a pretty solid like friendship, and he helps her learn how to fight and learn how to do things. And I mean, really, he kind of teaches her how to be more of a man. Let's be honest here. But I just think of that song from Mulan, like "I'll make a man out of you." That's all. Like he's like putting Ellie through how to be a man school,
I mean,
basically.
to be fair, Bella Ramsey could probably pull off the animation from Mulan in IRL form.
Well, what's funny is the scene in the like the Joel flashback episode where Joel's like, "Hey, you and Jesse spend a lot of time together. Like, do you like him?" And she's like laughing in his face.
Yeah,
Like, do you not realize what's going on here? Like, how could you think I have a crush on Jesse? Like
yeah,
that was pretty funny though, I have to admit.
yeah. Note for the people hopping on and partaking in our conversation, please let us know what your thoughts are on the finale of The Last of Us in the comments and questions, and we'll throw those up and banter them back and forth for a minute. um, Now the other part, now of course that winds up leading to Ellie kind of separating, and she stumbles across this pack of the scars, um, gets away from them, and then winds up going through this compound of sorts where she confronts a
Mm.
couple of the wolves, and that winds up being a situation uh, where she tries to get information on Abby's whereabouts, and that kind of backfires on her. She winds up killing both of them, one accidentally, and I feel like the female one was pregnant and she was trying to get Ellie to save the baby.
Yes.
Yeah. So that and all of a sudden, like Ellie's freaking out because she killed these two before they could tell her where Abby was, and two, I guess maybe because of the whole Dina thing, feels distraught over the fact that this woman
Yes.
died with child and she couldn't save the child.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a total freak accident because I think it was didn't she go to did she go to shoot Owen, the guy, and then it either the bullet either ricocheted or like went through him into the other girl? I forget what the girl's name
I
was.
felt like I felt like it went through him. I felt like it went through him on the exit wound and hit her. That's kind of what seemed logical to me there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he was ready to. Um, he told her that he was going to point out on the map where Abby was, and then he kind of pulls a fast one and pulls the gun out, and Ellie doesn't hesitate because she's already drawn on him,
Right.
and she winds up shooting him instead, and then of course the girl winds up dying with him. But it was kind of like a freak accident because he was trying to pull a fast one and take out Ellie, which was kind of foolish in his eyes.
Yeah.
I feel like because she's already drawn on him. Like it's not going to take much for her to realize that you're reaching for a firearm.
Right, like you the way that you're reaching is going to take longer than she's already got the gun out. So how are you going to
Yeah,
beat her?
yeah,
Like in that draw, how are you going to beat her? But it's just kind of ironic too because I think Owen was the one, and he mentions it. He says like, I he didn't say like I saved you or something, but he said I think he's the one that told Abby to end it. He like to put Joel out of his misery because like he was like hanging on by a string, and so Owen's like, you need to end it right now.
yeah. This is suffering. This is cruel at this
Yeah,
point. Yeah,
right.
and then of course that whole thing kind of ends with Tommy and Jesse coming in and finding Ellie. Jesse and Ellie wind up later kind of having this reconciliation. Um, and to the point where like Ellie kind of challenges Jesse or like Jesse tries to play like tough guy and be like, oh, how do you know Tommy just didn't want me
Yeah.
to come help him find you? And she's like, yeah, no, that didn't happen. Just like, no, yeah, you're right. And then he says like, because if the roles were reversed, you probably would have moved heaven and earth to come find me as well. And this, of course, ends with Abby finding them. Here's Ellie trying to find Abby's location. Abby does the work for her,
Mm.
winds up shooting or wounding Jesse, and she's drawn on him because she's under the impression that he's the one that killed her friends. Um, Ellie admits, no, 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 it was me. And then we kind of end the episode, end the season on a cut to black. We hear Abby's gun go off. We see her wake up sometime later, who knows how long. We have no idea what happened to Ellie, and Abby's overseeing this kind of new society growing in the Seattle Seahawks football stadium.
Mm. Yeah, pretty trippy. I when she went to shoot Jesse, I thought that Jesse was like dead, like instantly. I thought she shot him in the head or something. So when Ellie was saying let him go, I'm like, what is there to let go? His body? Because I'm pretty sure he's dead. And then I saw him move and I'm like, oh, he's still freaking alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought he was a goner. So I was like, no. And
Oh,
especially after like
yeah.
after I already was like, oh, Jesse is like the further Asian Keanu Reeves, like we gotta, hold him close to our hearts and we can't let him go.
Yes. And it's funny because like you didn't play the game. I didn't play the game. I may embark on that adventure later on for the YouTube channel. But to this point, I haven't played it either. So I'm now seeing, Joel is gone, Ellie is presumably gone. We don't know what happened there. So I'm almost kind of wondering, like, what is the whole lineage of the game as far as where it continues from here? Is Abby like a featured character in the game post Joel and Ellie?
That's
Like,
what
like
I've
I
heard.
yeah, like I know. At least I think I'm thinking of the right game. I think it's The Last of Us that there's a certain amount of like tracks you can choose in the game where there's like there's an almost infinite amount of possibilities and arcs that go throughout the game. So I mean, like maybe that's was kind of what they're going for as far as shooting the series off in different directions.
Yeah, the way I understand it, so there are two games. There's Last of Us and Last of Us 2, but from what I understand, the Last of Us 2 game covers Abby's like
Oh,
Abby's
okay.
little journey thing. So yeah, they did it I guess a little bit differently where like, season 3 is going to cover Abby's story where, obviously for this season 2 is all wrapped up in but it's not the full game season 2 of it. Yeah, it's not like one to one.
Okay, yeah. So season 1 and season 2 were the first game, and now whatever it goes forward will be the second game, more or less.
Yeah, so from what I can tell, they kind of took some like creative liberty to it is an adaptation, but they made it a decent amount different to get where they're trying to go in this arc.
Well, speaking of those differences, again, didn't play it, at least as of yet. You've read up on it, but did not play it.
Right.
But with those creative liberties, I kind of feel like the whole um the whole Ellie thing is a little bit of an exaggeration from the game. I kind of feel like a video game probably wouldn't do that. So what's kind of like the hot take here where I mean, for all we know, maybe it's done now. Maybe Ellie's dead and it's done now. But like, what's kind of through at least through this season as well as a little bit from the first season? How really necessary was this kind of non Bella Ramsey's you know social activism on screen thing?
Well, so from what I can see too, so it is present in the games. I think it's not really as like I don't think she's like I'm gay. I don't think it's really like spelled out. It's just like understood. And like there are some scenes, I guess, where that she is Riley the girl in the first season. I can't remember.
Right.
I saw people referring to Riley, like that
Oh, that
she
one
liked
episode that
Riley.
was the flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think like it is present in the games. However, it's not really as central of it's not like the central focus like it is in the show and some things are very different. Like, I mean, I know you're going to talk about it, the whole cringy of all cringe lines, but so like in the game apparently like Ellie is actually really mad when Dina tells her that she's pregnant because like she kind of lied to her about it or she didn't tell her about it sooner, so she's actually angry. She's not like all happy about it. And also their relationship is like very very new in the game. Like they've been like dating for like a week or two. Like it's like a very fresh new thing. So
Yeah.
not really the established thing of like, oh, like we love each other or we're saying that we love each other.
Yeah, we kissed once at this dance and we started to wonder,
Exactly.
and now we're off on this trek
Exactly.
for, a few weeks or whatever, however long it took them to get to Seattle. And that's kind of their courting phase, I guess.
Yeah, and then like furthermore, it brings to mind the existential question of that scene where Dina's watching Ellie play Take on Me, which I was sort of rolling my eyes. I was like, "Oh, she's just gonna bring out a guitar and sing the entire song start to finish." Okay.
Yeah.
I like people wouldn't really do that in real life. But it made me think of that thing like is it true that someone playing instruments makes them look instantly more attractive than they actually are if they can just play an instrument and or sing? Like, I feel like that's a real thing. It's a legit thing for sure.
I know it's definitely a real thing. I mean, it's funny because it's played up so much in conjecture and kind of joked about. You kind of don't necessarily think it's a real thing, but there is a sense of sensualism, if that's the right word, to hearing someone like seeing someone portray that type of skill and then singing. It there is I think that's probably what it is. It kind of like adds to the or someone's aura or whatever.
I can attest to the fact that it's a real thing. Like I'm not going to name any names or anything because that's not nice, but there was somebody that I was seeing, like, we're going on like 15 years ago, where because they could play instruments, I kind of had blinders on thinking that they were more attractive than they were. So it's a real thing. But
Yeah.
I just thought of that because you have Dina standing there in the theater and you have, Ellie breaking out into song, and like Dina's standing there with these like googly eyes, like, oh, it's such a pleasure. Like, look, she's like, basically, like, you could just like see the hearts in her eyes. I was like, oh, please.
Oh, please.
Oh, please. True, like Michelle Tanner, like, oh, please. What is going on here?
Hey everyone, anyone hopping on right now, let us know in the comments what you thought of the finale, what you thought of season 2 as a whole, and we'll bat your questions and comments around for a couple of minutes. Um, now there were two lines with the whole.
Oh, God.
Actually, actually, I'm not gonna. Before I even preface this, I will say it makes me not feel not as cringy about it, knowing that it's at least a little bit of an unspoken off-camera thing in the game. If
Mm,
that's the case, I'm kind of like, okay, they didn't really take that much liberty. They just kind of
right.
expanded on something that was softly known or whatever.
They didn't
But
just like fabricate it like
yeah,
completely. Yeah.
exactly. Representation for representation's sake, whatever.
Right. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but one line that actually almost made me think that maybe they were gonna start to walk back everything they did is when Ellie and Dina first get to Seattle and they're walking
Hmm.
around and Seattle being what it is, left coast, whatever.
Right.
And they see all these like all the old gay pride flags and rainbows painted on the side of the building and that whole thing. And they walk and one of them says Dean says, "Oh, what's with all the rainbows?" And Ellie goes, "I don't know. Maybe they're all optimists." Like completely, completely like unaware of like what the symbolism
Yeah.
behind the rainbow is.
I was like, if only it were like that were true and it weren't like an ironic line that they put in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If only like that's what the attitude was towards all that stuff, like genuinely. And like I guess it's because, they've been uh holed up as like the surviving members of this like apocalypse basically.
yeah. And then of course, the one that kind of like makes gives you the big eye roll, and on top of the
Uh
fact that like you said, in the in the game, it was a sense of anger, not a sense of happiness
mm,
or pride.
mhm.
But when Dina does tell Ellie that she's pregnant, and and it's obviously it's Jesse. They both know it's Jesse, and it's almost like Jesse's forgotten at that point. Like Dina's
Yes.
like yeah, okay, he's the father, obviously, but he's not gonna like raise this baby with me. I want you to raise
Right.
this baby with me. And Ellie's like, oh, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna be a dad. I'm like, I'm gonna be a dad? What?
I was like, I'm going to be sick because that's like so incredibly cringy. I was just dying inside. And I knew about it. I had heard about that spoiler where people were joking. Like, I saw people tweeting that, after that whole I'm going to be a dad line, like, I don't fucking want to watch this show ever again. Like, that ruined it for me. Like, people were upset. Like, they were mad at how cringy and awful that moment was. Like, it was a joke to them.
my my saving grace is when I looked at the episodes on IMDb, that episode was like a six something, and everything else was like seven, like high sevens, low eights, mid eights. And I'm like, well, at least like whatever quotient goes into rating the episodes on IMDb, at least the effect was felt that maybe they get the message like, okay, maybe we should stop with this.
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, like, we try not to like we try not to say anything about the shows that we watch like to each other before we
Yeah,
review it. But like I had to send you that Kevin James meme with Bella Ramsey's face on Kevin James in the plaid shirt saying I'm going to be a dad because it's just the best meme ever.
it's so quote unquote artistically well done because if I didn't know that was Bella Ramsey, I would look at it and I'm like, I know that's not Kevin James, but damn it, I just can't figure out what's wrong with
Yeah,
it.
something so off like it's a fab Photoshop job that this person did to make the faces appear so seamless. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, I guess we should talk about like what's kind of to look forward to. Obviously, as you
Mm.
said before, whatever is next, whatever is left ahead, is gonna be the Abby arc now, which as much as I'm gonna miss seeing Pedro Pascal in this, um, I'm not really upset by that because I like what they've done already with Abby's arc.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I feel like they might go the flashback route with Abby, show like more of like, what her dad was working on like as a doctor. Like I feel like they're going to go deep with Abby's backstory. I wonder if they would kind of go further into like the hospital scene where Joel shot her dad and shot everyone there. Like I wonder if they would like do a revisit of that. But yeah, I mean I can't really see that they're gonna have Pedro Pascal back.
I, well, unless it's just that, like you said, that they'll deep dive more in the
Right.
raid on the Fireflies. Um, but I think they certainly could have the opportunity to do an extensive backstory, if nothing else, just because of how they established the whole Joel and Ellie kind of over the years thing. We know there was at least 3 years that went by between getting to Jackson and Joel's death. So
Mm.
that's obviously a lot of Abby's story in her quest for avenging her father.
Yeah, and I mean I would like to see more about the yeah, like the wolf people. I would like to see more of that storyline. You had that Sergeant Park, and then I forget what Jeffrey Wright's name was, but I did like that kind of like little offshoot of the storyline, that whole side of things. And then talking about the, I guess, the virus or the fungus going airborne with the spores, like
Hmm.
yeah, it's, you know what, it's just like this show ultimately is about this like apocalypse because of this illness that's like, I think it's a fungus is what it comes from, which is ironic because of when they launched the first season of this show was like in COVID or like right after COVID, but some parallels there. But that's what the show is about. It's about this apocalypse. It's not about like, sorry, it's not about this like lesbian bi storyline. Like that's not the core of what it's about. It's how people are surviving and the things that they have to do to survive. Like I'm watching the show thinking, oh god, if this were the situation right now, like say like things were like that after COVID or something, like would I be able to like muster the courage to do all of these things that like Ellie and Dina are doing? Like they're running through the train like literally like crawling over like skeletons and bodies, like they're having to kill people like to survive. Like would I be able to do any of that? Like hell no, I wouldn't have the, but it's like you don't know until you're in that situation. Like you have to just like grasp at straws to survive. So yeah, I just feel like this like all this little like I'm gonna be a dad bullshit is just noise. Like it's not what the show is about.
And I feel like they had started to do that in season one, aside from that one random
Yes.
episode with Ellie's flashback
Mm-hmm.
with Riley or whatever. Aside from that, I feel like season one was about the whole zombie apocalypse, post-apocalyptic world thing, and this one this season they did kind of like veer away from that.
Yeah, it's just like what's more important, like trying to outrun and survive some like mass illness or iron out my sexuality. I wonder. It's just like how weighted are the scales, you know? It's just silly. It's like they've cheapened it, you know, look by focusing on it so much.
Especially when like love and relationships are kind of a traditional thing, and um like as far as life is concerned, and Ellie is someone that has been raised in this post apocalyptic world. She has no sense or rhyme or reason of what a traditional life is like with someone, and family community ties. She has no comparison or knowledge of what that would be like. So for her to like have this sense of like that's what she wants. I'm like, you don't know what this is about because you didn't live in that world.
Right. It's just like you're playing house with your, like, this used to be like your best friend who you recently discovered that you have feelings for and that she has feelings for you. And then you're going to play house by finding out that she's pregnant by a guy, obviously, which is how it works. Like, and then you're just going to be like, oh, yeah, like we're going to raise the baby, though, even though we've been dating for like 5 minutes. It's just like, what? Like, what are you? That's such
Yeah,
a slap in the face to Jesse. Like, what is he? Some sort of sperm donor? Like, poor freaking Jesse. Hashtag justice for Jesse. He's a real MVP in this show. Let's be honest here.
we'll get it. We'll get it trending. Hashtag justice for Jesse.
God, I hope he lives. If he dies, like I can't watch this show. I just cannot. Season 3. Jesse dies, I'm out.
Well, don't be out on us. If you enjoy listening to our show, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and Spotify, where you can listen on iHeartRadio as well, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have any questions, comments regarding the show, email us red and red real reviews. That is the letter N and real spelled with 2 E's at gmail.com. Follow us on social media. She is Binge the Ginge. That is dots between the words on Instagram and all one word on TikTok. I am Nutmeg 2 Palmetto. That is the number 2 on both platforms. And if you just enjoy seeing our ginger antics and faces, you can also watch our show on YouTube and Rumble. Next up drops on Wednesday. A look inside the making of Hollywood execs and the trials and tribulations that go on in that world. The Studio by Apple TV and Seth Rogen. That drops this week. Catch up on the show and catch our review. Until the next real review, Red and Red are signing out.